Hi everyone, I am going to show you today how I prepare my chili beans. I'm on the verge of saying these are famous chili beans. I've been making them for about 30 years, ever since my aunt Patsy showed me how to make them. They've been a staple at all of our family get-togethers, and tomorrow, since it's Memorial Day, I'll be making these again. And let's just walk through it really quick. The recipe uses pink beans, but sometimes those are hard to find. So I have used just pinto beans in the past, and that's worked great. But you want to start, anytime you get beans, is you want to sort them. So an easy tip is just to get a chopping block or something that you can tell the color of your beans, and you'll be able to spot any rocks or clumps of dirt. So you have to have a surface that's easy on your eyes that you can see. I've also pulled out my drawer here, and I'm just putting a plastic container here, and I'm gonna just grab sections of beans and just scoop them over, just eyeing for any rocks, any debris, anything that I don't like the looks of. And I'll just shove it over here to the side. So it's a pretty quick process. And I've done most of the beans. So you just take them, just look them over. If there's anything in there, you could make sure that you get those out. I usually find the bagged beans are pretty clean. It's when you go to the bulk section, you run into a lot of rocks. So I don't get my beans from the bulk section. Okay, that being said, all I found in this bag was a couple of beans that just didn't look right. And I also found a kernel of corn. So where they process the beans, they also process corn. So that was in there. So we'll get that out. Then after that, you just simply rinse your beans. These have already been rinsed. I just wanted to pull them back out and show you that tip for cleaning them. So these have been rinsed. You can even soak these overnight. Sometimes I do, but I'm not going to today. And then what I'm going to do real quick is cover them with water. So cover them by about 1 inch of water, because the beans are going to expand as you cook them. And I use a crock pot to cook my beans in. That's the way I've always done it, and it works well, so why change it now? So I just put them in the crock pot, and they're covered with water about 1 inch over the top of the beans. And I'm going to take that to the crock pot and go ahead and set it on high, and then I'll be working with my meat. So let me take this to the crock pot. And while I'm here, I'm going to get my pan brought up to heat. So let me show you real quick what spices we're using. This is just ordinary chili beans, and it utilizes everyday pantry ingredients. We've got chili powder, paprika, granulated garlic, black pepper, and salt. Now I have all of my ingredients measured and ready to go, except I don't put the salt in until the last part of the cooking process. Once the beans have started to thicken, I'll salt it at that time. But you do want all of your ingredients measured and ready to go. It's going to go pretty quick from here on. So let's go over to the stove. I got the beans in the crock pot, so they're just going to be on standby. So I'm heating up this skillet to medium high. you get some oil down. Just a couple of tablespoons of oil. That's all you need. And we'll let that go. And I'm going to bring my spices over. I want once this gets done, I want to be able to put my spices in pretty quickly. And you'll see why. We don't want to take a chance with anything burning. So I'm going to bring my spices over and I've just put them in a larger container. So we're going to have that ready. All right. So we have 1 medium onion, and that's a fine dice on that. I don't like large chunks of onion, so I like to keep it on the small dice. So we're going to put that in. And I also have 1 pound of ground turkey. I made the switch to ground turkey back in 2003, and I've never looked back. I've sampled a lot of different recipes. For a number of years, I fortified my ground turkey with a kitchen bouquet, and I put in 1 tablespoon of kitchen bouquet per 1 pound of meat. But then about 6 months ago, I also started adding ground mushroom powder, and I used 1 tablespoon of ground mushroom powder per pound of meat. So this has been fortified. This is lean turkey breast, and it's been fortified with the kitchen bouquet and the ground mushrooms. So I'm going to let that cook. And I want to show you these dried mushrooms. We have a great little Asian market by us, and I just get dried mushrooms, a bag. They're only a few dollars. So this is the dried mushrooms, and then I just grind it into a nice powder. So that just, what it does is just gives it a nice beefy flavor. So I bought that bag, and I'm almost out of my ground powder, but that's all that's left of my ground powdered mushrooms, so I'll have to grind that bag up real soon. I just keep that right in my spice cabinet. So we've got this over medium high. We're just gonna cook it till that turkey's done, and then the onions will soften up also. This recipe is on my blog. It's therighteouskitchen.blogspot.com. And this is one of the first recipes that I blogged about because it's just one of my top recipes that I make all the time. So it's been on the blog a while. My family loves it. It's a nice, healthy side dish because you're using lean meat and chili beans. I mean, come on. Isn't that the perfect side dish for your holidays, your barbecues, and all your summer get-togethers? So check out my blog. It'll give you step-by-step instructions. And then it's got a lot of tips. Again, I learned this from my aunt. She is the expert, and I was really blessed that she took the time with me and really taught me some good recipes. So I think every recipe that she's taught me, my family just really has went wild for. So So this is moving right along. Again, we've got 1 pound of ground turkey. This has been fortified with 1 tablespoon of kitchen bouquet and 1 tablespoon of ground dried mushroom powder. Then we have 1 medium onion on a fine dice. So that's just all sauteing and a couple tablespoons of cooking oil. We have our spice blend ready to go. And that's just going to be chili powder, paprika, granulated garlic, black pepper, and salt. So we've got that all here in a bowl. So it's ready to go just as soon as that meat is ready. And it's very important. You'll see why once the meat gets done and you still have it over the heat, things can burn on you. So that's why you want to get that in there before everything starts burning. So we're almost done. This is little prep time. We just simply sorted the beans, and now we've cooked our meat and onions, and we've got under 15 minutes so far. So it's easy prep time, and then it's just going to hang out in the crock pot. As it cooks and as those beans start to swell up, you're going to need to check your water level. And what I'll do is put a cup or so of water in at a time. You're wanting a thick chili sauce to develop, so you don't want to over water your beans. So just a little bit at a time. All right, so now this is cooked. So here we go. We're going to put this in. We didn't drain this. There's no fat in here, very minimal fat. It's mostly water. So we're going to use that to absorb this spice mixture. I'm going to cut the heat back to low. And we just want to coat the meat and the onions. We want to get all this nice color on everything. We want to heavily season this right now, because I'm not going to go back later and add more chili powder or more spices. Per my aunt, we want to do it right now, and we want to cook it a couple of minutes, and it's easier on your digestion, she tells me. So I'm not going to argue with that advice. It's just the way that she's done it, the way she taught me, and that's what I'm going to stick with. So you want to cook those spices in here, because we're not adding any more. This is a perfect ratio. It's going to give you that nice chili sauce at the end. It's going to keep this nice color. So we are done. We've got this in here. It's all coated. It looks very delicious. So how easy was that? Just browning up the meat, the onion, and adding some spices, and then we're just going to put it in with our beans in the crock pot. So I'm going to cut the heat and then bring this crock pot pan closer. So we're just transferring it right in there. I'm going to stir it around. I'm going to get a towel real quick because that handle gets hot. Here we go. We'll just use this scraper. We want all that goodness going right into the pan of chili beans. So we're just going to scrape that in there. And that's it. And I'll move the camera over so you can see what that looks like. Couldn't be more simple. I think if you try this recipe, it's bound to be a hit for your family. Let me show you here. So we've got them in the crock pot. We're going to have that on high. So we'll just be keeping an eye on it from this point on. So we're going to put the lid on it. We do that. Alright. We've got the lid on it. It's on high. And we'll just check it in a few hours. When the water level gets to low, just add a cup or two at a time. And just let this go. Probably 6 or 8 hours. And again, go to my blog spot. It's therighteouskitchen.blogspot.com, and you'll see this recipe there. So thank you, and I hope you enjoy a great Memorial weekend and time spent with your family. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.